She's the game-changing mystery whose intense theatricality and artistic presence redefined a genre and a generation. She produced one award-winning chart topper after another, while influencing every facet of pop culture from music to fashion to art and beyond. She became an inspiration to millions, not only to be themselves, but to live their wildest dreams. This is the evolution of Lady Gaga.
I think it will be quite a moment, and I hope to have created something beautiful, full of art and full of love.
She's known to the world as Lady Gaga, a true American original, and the maven of the Born This Way ball, whose style is an explosion of high art and futuristic pop. But she began life simply as a talented young girl named Stephanie from Manhattan's Upper West Side.
Yes, Lady Gaga's real name is Stephanie.
Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germanata.
Stephanie. Yeah, I couldn't believe it either.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Young Stephanie Germanata attended the Tisch School of the Arts of New York University, where she began perfecting her musical craft until she felt it was time to stop practicing music and start performing it live.
That is when Lady Gaga dropped out of the Tisch School and decided to focus on performing full time. If you haven't noticed, she doesn't really do anything halfway.
It was another move early in life that informed the beginnings of what would become Lady Gaga's signature style.
Well, I've been, making music for a long time, and you listen to a lot growing up. You just keep, enriching yourself with new kinds of music, and moving to the Lower East Side in Manhattan from the West Side, which is where I grew up, was really an eye-opening experience and exposed me to more underground music. And I started to look at, David Bowie and Queen and the 70s artists as a template for being able to use, fashion and theater and pop all together. So yeah, I would say that my music is pop, but it's just,
You gotta mix it.
it's mixed in with theatrics and high fashion and glamour.
Despite those early lessons, she was still a long way away from the artist she was to become.
I mean, I wasn't as good at it as I am now.
Right.
It takes time to learn. And for me, it's all about doing your research and pulling the proper references and surrounding yourself with a really amazing creative team that knows the right people, that can, even today Sharon brought me like a ton of books, and, we're doing new kinds of, hairstyles that no one's done before.
So fun.
We're just, we love fashion, we love makeup, we love, video. So this is just fun.
Before adopting the name that would become world famous, Lady Gaga began her career in the bars and clubs of Manhattan, fronting a band she formed and named after herself, the Stephanie Germanata Band, or SG Band. The SG Band was short-lived. They broke up in 2006, but by then, Stephanie had caught the attention of a producer named Rob Fusari, who brought her to New Jersey to work on recording some songs of her own.
At this point, she was still Stephanie Germanata, and the SG Band had a really different style. It was super heavy into rock and roll, and that had Rob Fusari really worried, because it's really tough for women to succeed in rock and roll. It's true, and it sucks.
Fusari convinced his budding star to try changing her sound a little, leaning away from rock and roll into dance music. After some initial resistance, they agreed to try it out. And Beautiful Dirty Rich, the first song for Lady Gaga's debut album, was born. But at that moment, she was still Stephanie. They'd found the sound, but Lady Gaga had yet to arrive.
So the big question is, how did Lady Gaga get her name?
Well, it was a nickname.
Okay.
My producer, Rob Fusari, used to call me Gaga in the studio.
Really?
Yeah, after the Queen record.
She later said that she added Lady as kind of a joke, sort of like the sophisticated meets the crazy. Lady Gaga. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
Well, I heard a different story, and I don't even know if it's true, but I'd like to believe that it is. I heard that Rob Fusari, who was her producer, every time that Stephanie would come into a studio, he would start singing that song, Radio Gaga, you know, Radio Gaga, Radio Goo Goo. And one day he decided to text it to her. And Radio Gaga autocorrected to Lady Gaga. My only question is, why did it autocorrect radio and not Gaga? It's like it was meant to be.
When we were getting ready to go out to perform in New York, I just felt like I didn't want to keep my old name because I had been performing out in New York as my old self, and it was like I just had such a creative transformation, and I just really wanted to allow myself to be different.
However she got the name, she said to her producer, "Don't ever call me Stephanie again. I'm Lady Gaga now." Bye, Stephanie.
But success didn't come immediately. Her work eventually landed Gaga a publishing deal with music powerhouse Sony, where she was tapped to write songs for artists such as Britney Spears, Fergie, New Kids on the Block, and the Pussycat Dolls.
She was mixing with all the right people who could take her career to the next level, but this wasn't her big record deal yet.
The recrowned Lady Gaga was ready for her introduction to the rest of the musical world. But while the world of pop music may have been ready for her unique sound, no one was prepared for the collision of high art and shock theater that would inevitably come with it. She was a New York-born music student, influenced by glam artists and dirty rockers of decades past. She wrote songs for the biggest pop divas of the day, and by night, planned her own emergence as one of the biggest pop artists of the century. This is the evolution of Lady Gaga.
What can we expect from you?
Well, it's going to be a definitely emotional experience for all of you. It's a pop show. It's very dramatic.
She'd found her sound and claimed her name, but Gaga hadn't yet established herself amongst the record industry elite. For that, she'd need a little help.
Akon, who was over at Interscope Records, was a huge fan of Gaga's work, and he convinced Interscope to sign her to do her own debut album.
After relocating to Los Angeles from the Manhattan club scene where she began, Lady Gaga's debut album was released on August 19th, 2008. It was titled simply The Fame.
It's definitely pop, 150,000%. But we've got some 80s, we've got a little 70s trash glam in there. You know, it's a little bit of everything. It's pretty eclectic, but it's, I would say, theatrical pop music.
Despite how big she's become now, The Fame, which was her first album, wasn't a huge hit right away. It's not like it topped the charts, in the first week, and it actually got very little play on the radio.
Gaga was traveling all over the country promoting The Fame, but mostly she was playing at small gay clubs. And in the mainstream, she was still an opening act. She was opening for New Kids on the Block, which, come on, you would not see them in the same concert anymore. The audience would be very confused.
However, all of that would change with the explosion of one track from the album. It was a simple song about a woman trying to get a man's attention, and in the process, it caught the attention of the entire world.
The song was Poker Face, and it didn't catch on until 2009. But when it did, it exploded.
Well, the song Poker Face I wrote in January, the day after I wrote Just Dance. You can believe it.
Wow.
And the song is about the way that girls catch guys.
Okay.
And how you gotta keep your poker face, because the minute you let the guy know how much you like him,
Exactly.
he runs for the hills. So he can't read my poker face. I'm trying to catch him, I'm trying to snag him, but I can't let him know how I really feel.
As a single, Poker Face would go on to sell almost 10 million copies. Grammy nominations would follow for Song of the Year, Dance Recording of the Year, and it would help The Fame nab an Album of the Year nomination.
The song was everywhere, and suddenly, everybody knew her name.
That name also soon became synonymous with spectacular and innovative live performances that made Lady Gaga's shows even bigger events than her album releases.
Gaga doesn't just play a concert. Okay, she creates performance art. She spends just as much time designing the show as she does writing the music.
To that end, in 2008, Lady Gaga created the House of Gaga, a company whose sole purpose was to design and create the world as Lady Gaga saw it.
House of Gaga, which is my creative team, we've really put our heads together and designed some pretty impressive devices and things on stage that will be different, very fresh, very forward-thinking. Just to pat ourselves on the back, I think we should.
The House of Gaga doesn't just create the live shows, they create everything for her. It's basically a group of experts and artists who design everything from her hair, to her makeup, to her costumes, to her props, everything but her music. So that's why Lady Gaga looks like nobody else, and that's also why her performances are unlike anything you've ever seen.
With singles Poker Face and Just Dance, another surprising hit propelled her album to fame. Lady Gaga went from opening act to blockbuster headliner.
Once she had the fame, Lady Gaga wasted no time. The Fame Ball Tour was her first solo worldwide tour. She'd played 4 continents, all of them more than once, and the tour had grossed over $200 million. Her first tour.
Lady Gaga had quickly gone from recording the fame to achieving it as a breakaway artist. Her biggest impact, however, was yet to be felt, and its fallout would hit far beyond the walls of just music. She's a new generation pop diva whose Poker Face broke her debut album wide in 2009 and helped launch her first world tour into an international success. She combined conceptual art with addictively catchy tracks, pushing limits and breaking expectations with every performance. But it was her sense of fashion that would leave the world stunned with the most controversial red carpet dress in history. This is the evolution of Lady Gaga.
Is there anyone out there that you would look forward to working with in the future?
I don't like to talk about things like that. All the collaborations that I do we find each other.
Lady Gaga's music and live shows have sold hundreds of millions to a global audience, but it was her unique fashion that cemented her in the popular consciousness, even for those who've never heard a word of her songs.
Gaga is as much about the style and the fashion as she is about music. I mean, people talk about what she's wearing almost as much as they talk about her music, because she doesn't wear outfits. She wears media events.
I'm just very inspired by everything that's going on always. And right now I'm a bit inspired by Margiela. So I'm in a shoulder pad phase, if you will.
Well, I've heard that you are saying that you are going to change the world one sequin at a time. Yeah. Tell us about that quote.
That horrid statement that I made once. It's like, right? It's really sort of just a metaphor for changing the world in more ways than just with the music. It's about the fashion, the lifestyle, the vision and the performance art.
In 2009, Lady Gaga released an extended play album entitled The Fame Monster. Its lead single, Bad Romance, was another breakaway hit that made her the most nominated artist at that next year's MTV Music Video Awards.
No one does the red carpet like Lady Gaga. No one. But at the 2010 MTV VMAs, Lady Gaga even decided to outdo herself and show up on the red carpet in a dress made of meat. Meat.
She walked the red carpet in it. She sat in the audience in it. And when she won, she accepted the award in it. That dress had to have been getting pretty fresh.
Dubbed the meat dress, Gaga's outfit created instant controversy. It was condemned by animal rights groups, while being named the fashion statement of the year by Time magazine.
Everybody saw or heard about the meat dress, even people who don't listen to music at all. She said it was about human rights and a metaphor for people being treated like meat. I think it was about getting everybody to talk about the meat dress.
In 2011, Lady Gaga released her official follow-up to the fame, entitled Born This Way. As has become custom for a Lady Gaga album, it featured an all-star lineup of producers, DJs, and supporting artists.
Lady Gaga has always been a collaborative artist, going all the way back to her first hit single, Just Dance, which she did with pop and R&B singer Colby O'Donis.
I've actually known Kobe for a very long time. I knew him before What You Got, because I was working with Akon writing for another artist, and I happened to just meet Colby one day, and sonically I just felt like, I think about things like that, how a vocal sounds in a record, and sonically he just sounded like killer, and I just said he's the guy.
Her music is just like her fashion. She's always mixing the old with the new to create something totally original. It's what Lady Gaga does.
Gaga approaches collaboration as she does any other creative pursuit, as a work of art rather than business.
Well, it's organic, and it's yeah, you just sort of find the people you're supposed to work with.
Born This Way sold over 1 million copies in its debut and slammed to #1 on the Billboard charts, going on to sell over 2 million units in its first week. It has since racked up over 6 million albums sold, cementing Lady Gaga as an artist with staying power.
Just in case you hadn't caught on, Lady Gaga is not going to be fizzling out anytime soon. Her crazy outfits, her out there performances, they're only gonna keep getting crazier and more out there. So hang on for the ride.
While her many collaborations have certainly helped shape Lady Gaga, none have changed the wholly original artist she is, or the one she's destined to become in the future. She made the journey from small-town clubs and slow radio play to selling millions of albums and filling arenas on every continent. She stirred up controversy with a red carpet statement so raw, it landed her on the front page of every website and newspaper. She earned the fame and showed us she was born this way. But for the queen of fantasy glam rock, she was just beginning to show us where art and pop culture collide. This is the evolution of Lady Gaga.
In 5 years, I'll probably be sitting on the couch, very similar to this one, talking to you about my 6th record. Maybe 4th, maybe, I don't know. Same thing.
After 2 successful studio albums, in 2013, Lady Gaga released Art Pop, which gave her a 2nd consecutive debut at #1 on the Billboard charts.
I think what gets lost in the big costumes and big tours is the exact reason why her fans love her so much. It's that she genuinely tries to connect with every single one of them. And she's just all about enabling them and empowering them to be themselves.
It's not an act. As crazy as she is, that's who she really is. And the fact that she could be so open really allows her fans to deeply connect with her on a whole other level.
I had a really wonderful experience when I was in Ireland, actually. I was having a really horrible day, and I was very emotional. And I almost couldn't stop crying. And I was so emotional during my show because my fans are so wonderful. And when I left the stage, I said to my tour manager, David, I said, I saw a girl being crushed by the crowd, and they pulled her out. Can you go get her and bring her to the back room so I can see if she's all right? And I was crying backstage, talking to the house about how I'm not sure if I'm doing a good job and how's the work and was the lighting and just mental.
Right.
And David came in and he said, your fan is next door and she's crying because she can't believe that you want to meet her.
So cool.
So I left my room. I was in my underwear, if you can believe this. Went into the other room in my underwear and sat with my fan and cried. And we cried together, and I thanked her so much, and that she made me feel so much better.
What a moment that was.
Such a good, isn't that a good moment?
For anyone who's not a Lady Gaga fan, they probably look at the meat dress and they say, that's someone who just wants attention. They probably don't think that that's a celebrity who lets a fan cry on their shoulder for an hour, cries with them. But that's Gaga. It's not just all the show, it's actually who she is.
Despite her massive success, Lady Gaga doesn't measure her value in sales or chart positions. In fact, much like on stage, Lady Gaga chooses to live in her own version of the world, focused solely on her art.
Well, to be honest, I am quite disconnected from the world, and I don't really have a tremendous concept of what people think of me. And I try not to care too much.
That's a good thing.
I make music, and I do my show, and my wish is that it is beautiful and that it changes lives. And the minute that it stops doing those things, that's when you will all stop coming and won't like my music anymore. So being number one for me is much more about the art and the concept, and not as much about the chart.
It's the craziest thing because it seems like the people who are the most successful care about success the least. You have Mark Zuckerberg, he's the youngest billionaire in the world, and he just wanted to make a website. And then you have Lady Gaga, and she's one of the highest selling artists of the decade, and she doesn't really care about the sales. You know, like she just wants to make music.
She still works harder than anybody else. I mean, just like she always has, you know, for when she was playing club after club in different cities across the country. She's always had this really strong work ethic. Every concert is still an event to her, and every single song is still a work of art.
That work ethic remains the biggest piece of advice from a generation's biggest icon to the fans she continues to inspire.
I would say you better work harder than you ever believed you could work in your life, because you really don't get anywhere being lazy. So don't get caught up in the drugs and the drinking. Although it is very good to inspire you creatively, it's about hard work and a good ethic. So that's what I would say.
While the fans and artists who look up to Gaga for inspiration may see a meteoric rise to becoming an unobtainable figure, Lady Gaga herself sees what she does as a typical day at work, and that doesn't seem to have changed.
Not very much. No. I still make music and design my show all day long.
She is in a club with one member. She is like the only person in the world who hasn't gone Gaga over Gaga.
There's no question that she is where she wanted to be. I just don't know if it's for the reasons that we think. You know, I think that all of this media attention is just a byproduct of someone who is trying to make an original statement in an industry that is so diluted with copycats. And yes, she does play into element of hype and all the scandal, but it's her job. You know, she is a pop star by trade and an artist by choice.
Be good to each other, young Hollywood. This is Lady Gaga. Bye.
Young Hollywood.